Let's go. What's up, bro? We got a podcast in the metaverse, bro.
Yeah. Who knew that this is what it was all building up to through the entire first season? And now we are here kicking off season 2 with all of you guys, a live studio audience.
Let's go. Every Tuesday.
A podcast. We didn't even know what was happening. We were 15 episodes into this.
It seems to be helping and impacting a lot of people. We'll see you every Tuesday on the MetaVerse podcast. Peace.
I don't know why I chuck deuces. Like I don't chuck deuces. What was that?
Hey, I don't know why I chunk deuces.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tuesday afternoon or noon and where you're at, right?
It is, man. Yep. Noon on the dot. Top of the hour to you.
It's one of my 25 favorite times of the week right here.
Yes, dude. That's great. Man, one day we'll make top 15, I tell
you. No, man, it's always the highlight of my week when I get to see you. Your laugh is infectious and your wisdom is profound, sir.
Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be back. I was out last week on the live.
We missed you, but Trainer Cal helped hold it down.
Trainer Cal held it down all the way from the UK.
Yeah. He's been doing a lot, like more and more. Every time I see him, he's stepping up in new ways. Love dude.
The metaverse has its way of expanding us and growing us.
Ain't that the truth right there, awesome. Man? Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit stretched right now in the metaverse. To tell you the truth, there's some neat opportunities. There's some cool things happening, but it's pushing me a little bit outside of my comfort zone. In full. Actually, I'm saying in full transparency, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because I can't talk about it yet.
Yeah. Well, I think of a verse that says, "To whom much is given, much is required." You know, or my mom would say, if you want to be the boss, you got to pay the cost.
both of those are good. Both of those are good. Yeah.
And I think there's just a reality. For greatness takes work. And who was it? I think it was Jay-Z that said, everybody wants to be Kobe Bryant that hits the game winners, but nobody wants to be the Kobe Bryant in the gym.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's reality. It's in all of our, wherever we are, whatever level of life you are in, to go to that next level, it takes a little bit more work. And oftentimes, you know, when we've been operating here and God is promoting us to a whole nother level, it just takes a whole different mindset and a little bit of extra. That's why one of my favorite proverbs, I've quoted this plenty times over. It's like, these things do the earth quake underfoot it cannot bear, and one of them when the servant becomes king, and there just has to be a shift in the mindset.
Right, a shift in the mindset. I mean, that's really what it is, because the things that brought us here are not going to be the same things that bring us here. You know, it's got to be that mindset shift. It's going to be the same people, only more of them. You know, but it's going to be. It takes a different level of organization. It takes a different level of structure. It takes a different level of communication and planning and all that. That's
absolutely. That's before we move on, I just got distracted by some of the comments. Hysterical. Yeah. One, I want to give a shout out to 4K Production, who's been here since yesterday. He's been camping out. He's been camping out in his tent and you know, in virtual world. So we'll let Sensei Jay talk a little bit about him.
Go ahead.
The next comment cracked me up. It's from my dad. My dad is very funny, man. Old school.
Oh, man,
That is funny.
You know, he popped in or last week too, for a little while, and he made a couple comments there. It was really cool to see him. I thought that was your dad. So Robert, good to see you again.
Absolutely. Let me read it for the podcast for people who are listening and don't
Yeah.
know what we're laughing at. My dad says, I'm watching Metaverse right now, right after taking a Metamucil. I know it's time for a dose when you come on. That is hysterical.
Yeah. Well, and I remember just a couple episodes ago, you talking about that laughter that you remember from growing up. That's cool. And your dad and your uncles just getting together and just that hearty laugh.
Man, I was telling my kids about this song that my dad would play on the piano just last night. And man, it was too late to call my dad because he's on Eastern Standard Time. Dad, I wanted to call you, man, because there's this song, and I can't remember how it played, how it went, but my older cousins and my uncles would die laughing when my dad would play. And I was laughing, trying to tell my teenage kids about it. They were like, it must not be that funny if you can't tell us what it is. I was like, no, it's hysterical. Just wait until tomorrow.
Yeah. Man, good stuff. And I know you had mentioned 4K Productions and how they've been watching since yesterday, waiting to come on. I know the big attraction that they're here to see is our friend Sensei Jay. Should we bring out Jay?
Yeah, let's bring on Sensei Jay right now.
Welcome to the show. Our first time having Sensei Jay, but certainly not the first time he's been involved. Here he is, Sensei Jay.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good,
man. Everybody, this is the Mr. Miyagi of the metaverse right here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and screen name in the metaverse of Sensei Jay, and that title has been earned every which way you look at it, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. How many black belts do you have currently?
I've been training for over 40 years, and I have black belts in 6 different styles.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. And
my dad had one
certificates. I have like 42 certificates.
Yeah. My dad had one really good black belt. Kept us in check.
Yeah. My dad had that same belt.
From the same school.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta say, everybody, you'll get to see in just a moment Sensei's in avatar form. And I thought the avatar Sensei, the metaverse Sensei, was cool, but the real life Sensei is cooler.
Oh,
Let me just say that.
Got a little more wrinkles and gray hair than the avatar.
But what I want everybody to know is all of what you see from the Metaverse podcast, into particular video, is because of this man on the screen here, Sensei Jay. Man, we wouldn't be who we are, with the Metaverse had it not been for you. So we appreciate you so much, man.
It is my pleasure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we get into that a lot in the podcast, and you share a lot of wisdom and a lot of stuff. So let's jump right into it.
Yes, get your notepad.
All right.
Some good takeaways.
All right, everybody. Do you want to do that little Mr. Rogers song, like we're going to the spot?
We're going
All right. King Friday, here we come.
Here we go. 5, 4.
Gotta clear some messages there, buddy.
2.
Okay. Ow. Okay. Oh, get it.
Whoa. You got a little taller there, Jason.
Oh. Is this intimidating? What's up, little man? How you feeling?
I'm 6'4" in real life. Like, I'm not used to looking up to people like that.
That's hysterical, man. Hey, this is the metaverse. Anything can happen. I'm 5'8".
That's right. Oh, man.
Sweet.
Man.
It's good to see
Good
everybody.
stuff.
Thank everybody for hanging out, and thank you for tuning in. If you watching on our YouTube or Facebook feeds.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff, man. Happy Friday to you. It's the end of
dude,
the
happy
week,
Friday
coming
to you
into
as
the
well.
weekend. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Super
You got
exciting.
anything coming up this weekend?
Man, my kids go to camp for the first time. If you don't know, I have 6 kids, and their names are Aaron, Alexandria, Alicia, Andrew, Akeem, and Anaya. That's my first time making straight A's, and so,
Heyo.
dude, my straight A's go to camp. So I have 2 who are working,
Wait,
and
all of them? Or
with 2. I'll just pause to say, man, I thought I was going to break my vasectomy. I'm just playing. 2 who are working at the camp, and then the younger 4 are attending camp. So for about 4 or 5 days, man, my wife and I will be by ourselves. Oh, number 7's coming.
Number 7 on the way.
No, listen. If we have a number 7, his name gonna be Houdini. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So,
okay, all right, because it would take some magic.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, man. Well, that's cool, dude. That's a cool feeling, especially. I mean, I had 3 kids coming up. They're all grown and out of the house now. Some of them are still on the payroll, but
Right.
but they're all adults. But when we had those little windows where the stars would align and we were empty nesters, that was a wonderful thing. So
yeah, which I'll give any marriage, just unsolicited marriage advice. Man, it's actually cool if you have like a date night in your system once a week. Now, when I say date night, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but it could be something that's running to the drive-through, running to Target by yourselves, but just creating some type of environment to where it's just you and your spouse, spending some time together once a week, and it makes this 5-day camp excursion a little bit more exciting. Like, cool, we get 4 days of date nights or date days.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
I've talked to a lot of people that, they're when you get married initially, the relationship is about each other. But then as kids come along, the relationship stops being about each other and starts being about those kids. And then when the kids grow up and move out, it can be really, really damaging, because then it's like, now what? So what you just said about having that date night, having that intentionality about keeping things going, keeping things together, keeping the focus on each other, that's so important. Thanks for sharing that, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I would say, man, a dangerous marriage is a marriage that makes it about the kids. It's like, God didn't bless you with this offspring just for you to forget about each other. Like, no, it's actually, yeah, dude. So, that's a whole nother podcast, a whole nother show.
yeah,
absolutely.
Well, man, I got some exciting.
What about you? What you got planned
up
for the weekend?
Dude. So over the next, like, today, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, each of those days, I have some really big external meetings coming up about some super exciting stuff. I can't really talk about some of it. Some of it I won't talk about yet because it's not fully in place. But some of these relationships that I've had in the business world that started budding years and years ago, way before this even started, are now kind of coming together, and it looks like people are going to be playing a role in the continued development of the metaverse and the Soapstone and the MetaVersed show and all of these things. So it's just amazing. So actually, I mean, I would say, as you're going throughout your day, as you're going throughout your lives, just make sure that you're being good to people and you're nurturing relationships, because you never know how that's going to come full circle down the road. It's just absolutely amazing to see these things that developed out of genuine relationship that now all of a sudden have mutually beneficial win-win business solutions that come out of it. It's just amazing.
Absolutely. And I would say, man, based off of some of my favorite collection of verses that deal with laziness or diligence, As I've seen you be diligent and creating certain communities in the metaverse, man, one great thing to do is to ask yourself, man, where in the areas that I really want to see prosper, the areas where I really want to see grow, um, what do I see? Am I being is my hand are my hands being slack in this, or my hands being diligent? And making sure that the diligent hand, or that you
Man, I gotta stop that for just a second, because I love the fact that when we kicked this off, we kind of talked about the same thing. Now, this was recorded about like 10 days ago, or right in that range. But Jason, especially, like the consistency of your wisdom, like when situations come up, the consistency of how you advise, how you encourage, it's just amazing. And like, I don't know, that just hit me how we just said that 10 days after we recorded it here, and you could have almost played it over top of each other, just because,
wow,
it's just this true line that comes through, man. I appreciate that. What do you attribute that to?
man, I would say just my eye for something that I long to be. And like you use that word consistency, that's been showing up. That's the word that has been that has showed up the most consistent in the last 3 days.
It showed up twice in that sentence.
And so it's amazing. So that's where I want to be in life, and it's kind of what I would say those verses that I speak about a lot. Just it's what I've needed to apply in my own life to meet these goals, to be where I want to be. And so when I see it, I just call it out. Even I was so moved at that and blown away in that moment. I had to find the words. I had to almost like bring my emotions down because I was just so blown away seeing your journey and how consistent you've been. And I just wanted to speak to those who may be lacking consistency, or wanting so badly to be successful. It's, if you want to be successful, your hands cannot be slack. And again, and it's something that you see in Sensei J. Like, you look at who he is and the influence that he has in the real world. Like it comes from a hand being diligent and a hand not being slack.
That's well said again, sir. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, back at it.
Oh no! Wait! No, because I want to know.
All right.
I want to know, how did those meetings go? I know you can't tell everything.
Yeah. So they're going good. There's good things happening. Yeah, it's things are not buttoned up completely, but we're heading in very good directions.
So good.
Yeah. It's I can't wait. Like it's not going to be long, and I'm going to be able to talk about some of those things, and it's going to blow people's minds. It's going to be so cool.
No doubt.
All right, now it better be right. I've set the stage. All right, here we go.
Buckle your seatbelts. We're going nowhere.
Right. Yeah, that's when we just move on. All right, here we go.
You're being diligent in those areas, because the slack hand will lack consistently. And so I just want to affirm you publicly, dude. I've seen you, and most people around who know you have seen areas where you've been disciplined, and all of this stuff is a result of the diligent hand prospering. And let me say this: it doesn't take a lot. Haba nehaba, kuyaza kibaba, say haba nehaba. That's Swahili. It's a song. Haba nehaba means little by little, bit by bit, minute by minute, inch by inch. All things are possible if you just say. And we've seen you do a little by little, inch by inch.
Yeah. Wow, man. Good stuff. I love this interaction. Like, we didn't talk about what's happening. We just came up here and started genuinely talking. And everybody who's watching, man, have those relationships with people that you respect, with people you look up to, with people that you admire, and just connect, and don't have an agenda. Don't have something that you're trying to accomplish. Just talk and see where that goes. Cause it's been amazing to experience that over and over with you, where we just get together and start talking, and the wisdom that comes out of it. It's just incredible. Thank you for being you, dude.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just because everybody who's watching what Aaron and I did, we just, again, this podcast or show just started out of us talking. So what you just said.
Sorry. By the way, every time I hear you say podcast, it gets a little bit more like with that Midwestern twang when I say it, that podcast. Like I hear it more and more.
That is great. Yeah, because I say podcast, and you say
I say podcast.
Podcast. I say podcast. He says podcast. Anyway, but it started just out of two guys, two friends, colleagues, just genuinely encouraging each other. And he was like, man, let me ask you a question. And it started like that. And so we started like, hey, let's record the conversation. So as we've been doing that and going back, one thing that I've been doing is just creating reels from our past episodes. And so I would encourage you all two things. One, I would encourage y'all, as you follow us on social media, check out those reels of the earlier days podcast. We're just taking them, making them out in bite-sized pieces. But here's a content tip for everybody. If you have any place where you're consistently being in front of people, talking, communicating what's on your heart, like record those things and then see how you can go back and make those into bite-sized pieces for content, for reels and
repurposing
and
content. I think is what the cool kids are calling it nowadays.
Absolutely.
Like taking a piece. Speaking of content, man, our guest today is a content creator extraordinaire.
Oh my goodness. I literally have been waiting for this opportunity. Probably for I've been waiting for this show for 3 weeks now. Because this dude is pretty consistent. And
pretty consistent is an understatement.
You're exactly right. That's actually that pretty consistent is an insult to this dude's character, like how consistent he is, man.
Yeah, man. Well, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we are going to have our guest of the hour, of the episode, of the week. It's all going to be happening right here in just a minute.
And I would say, as we take that break, anybody who likes technology, call them, tell them to watch this.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
All right. And here it is, and I didn't even really think about it, but that we just talked about consistency.
There it is.
There it is.
Wow.
That's just because we're old and we forgot we talked about it before.
That's the nice thing about having that 10-day gap. It's like
I don't even remember what I said yesterday.
Right. That's right, man. So Jay, welcome, man. I know you've been here with us, and of course, you've been involved the whole time. You're just doing great things, and I know we get into a lot of just wonderful stuff in the actual conversation.
Which we'll have next. And for those of you out there who don't know, what the entire podcast was pre-recorded in the metaverse. In Horizon Worlds, which is Meta's version of the metaverse, and we and now we're watching our own conversation and commenting on it as we go. Right, so those are actually us behind our headsets in those avatars, talking about the experience that we have there. So excited to be here.
The way to preface that. That's lovely. Well, you got anything, Jason, before we jump right into hearing from Jay?
What he said.
Yeah. We're recording this, so we might have to plug that in all future episodes as well.
We got Bulletproof Dean who's in here watching.
Oh, and, that's a good.
He asked a question: do you guys think the price of the Quest 2 going up will slow growth of the metaverse?
Man, that's a great question, and I've actually been thinking a lot about that. Can I take that one, guys?
Yeah.
Please.
Cool. So if all of us that are watching what Meta's doing right now, it feels like they're really starting to feather the gas pedal for creating content and that. Yeah, if we're gonna show off.
Just
There
lay
it
the
is.
egg.
Oh, wait. I got two of them. I got another one in here.
Oh, nice.
man, tough to keep up with the Joneses.
Well, when you film as much as I do, you need
Yeah, for sure. Well, good stuff. Yeah, but the price of going up on the Quest 2s, that's not going to slow growth. In fact, I think we're going to see growth dramatically increase.
Yeah.
They're investing so much in experiences and content and that, and they're just starting to feather that gas pedal on the marketing engine, which of course Meta's marketing engine is unlike any marketing engine on the planet. When they put that pedal down, we're going to know it.
Yeah. And I would also say, Dane, it's, look at Apple. If you want to do a case study, if price hikes slows down the consumption of a product,
right. Yeah, we've seen those phones increase in price a little bit, haven't we?
And the amount of people who are companies who are investing in Oculus, saying instead of flying our employees across the country or to another country, we would actually save more money if we buy 2 Oculuses, one for the client, ship that overseas, and one for our employee, and allow them to meet up in the metaverse.
Yeah. And education, right along those same lines, the educational applications, they're just huge. And once people start seeing those applications and the cost savings associated with them, the headset being, $100 more, it won't even hit the equation for a lot of those applications.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And the headset is the biggest barrier to entry into the metaverse. People putting this big monstrosity on their face, it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. But when, it won't be long. I mean, within the next 10 or 15 years when it'll be like this.
Yeah.
And then look out. That's when it's really going to go.
And there's no question. Right now, we're strapping the equivalent of a 1980s suitcase cell phone onto our faces.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So
what's really going to work is when they get a bathroom, when they put bathrooms in the metaverse. That's cool.
Then we're in, man.
That's when
right.
you're going places.
We get some legs.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, the current ones, you short circuit them if you pee while you watch it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well,
from personal experience.
By the way, if your headset gets wet when you pee, you are doing it wrong.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
all right. On that note,
just FYI, it's 2 comedians and a sensei. Just FYI,
right.
That explains to all your professional friends, Sensei Jay, who coming in.
Right. All right, let's get this. Get our guest out here in virtual reality to talk more.
Okay.
Are you dancing or
I'm dancing.
like
I was just thinking,
yourself?
like, man, somebody needs to come up with some dances for the metaverse.
That's right. There, you know what? There could be a viral dance happening here.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So, man, as we're getting back started on this next segment, let's give a quick shout out to some of the people that are here involved, like Lolly D up in the sound booth, making things happen. Then, Trainer Cal is taking a a different role this time. He's running video because our guest is a primary video person. So, and Chimera Chaos is out there keeping track of things, and then the studio audience is, of course, helping out in being here and supporting and all that. So, thank you all for who you are, and let's bring out our guest, shall we?
Yep. And also the countless people who just say, hey, man, we enjoy the podcast. We enjoy the video. Those who are in the metaverse and those who are outside the metaverse. I just want to say, we appreciate you all. Oftentimes it's the people who are unnoticed who are most important, especially to make the world go round. And so thank y'all.
Yeah.
So yes, we should introduce our guest today. I will start, and I'll let you kind of, I'll alley-oop it to you. You slam dunk the intro. Everybody, our guest today, I met via Aaron, an unemployed alcoholic. And I can just say from watching this guy's YouTube videos, myself as a wannabe video producer, man, this dude has a wealth of wisdom, and he's not just talks about it. It's easy to talk about leadership, but don't know how to lead. This dude leads in this technological video efforts, and that's how I met him for you.
Yeah, I mean that says a lot right there, and he's one of my good friends. I think he is officially my oldest friend that I met in Metaverse. You know, this guy, immediately when I came into the Metaverse, he was offering out value. He had a world that he had built, and he was giving it away to anybody who wanted to take it and work on it to build something else. And he and I met up a couple times and just had incredible conversations. And I'm so excited that you all are going to get to share in the conversation with this guy. He is the owner and the operator of the Film Sensei YouTube page that has over 10,000 likes, or not likes, over 10,000 subscribers. He is part of the team that produces a lot of the tutorial videos that you see here in the Metaverse, and he's a good friend. Please give it up to Sensei Jay.
Hey, okay. Get it.
Have you been working on that?
Let's go.
Hello. Was that the new viral
that was
Horizon
the new TikTok
dance that you were just doing?
Yeah. Go
There was sort of like one of these and one of those, maybe a little bit of sprinkler.
Oh, some sprinkler.
Some of the man, that
yeah.
Good to me.
History of dance.
I'm impressed. By the way, as unemployed alcoholic was introducing you, said that you're one of his oldest friends, but he showed how old he was by calling your subscribers likes. You're like, he's got a bunch of likes.
He doesn't even know. That's a newfangled technology.
All that newfangled technology. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, well, dude, it is so good to have you on the show. I feel like this conversation has been a long time coming, and again, I just want to kick things off by just saying thank you for who you are. Like, we talked about how solid you are and how dependable you are. Man, when you say you're going to do something, it's just done, and that is the kind of discipline that that is who you are in real life, and it's just amplified here in the metaverse. So thank you for that.
That's what you always say, that everything that you are in real life gets amplified in the metaverse. I've heard you say that many times, and maybe it was you who said that.
That's an Earlsism right there.
Same team. He can take credit for it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's true too. I think it's really true.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, like, even more important than that, like, the times when we've talked about different situations and stuff, like, your genuine concern for just being a positive part of the community, like, that just screams every time anybody talks to you. So that is so genuine, so cool, and I appreciate that, man.
Well, and I got to give a shout out to my my boss. So I work for Vidu. Vidu is run by Lakes 05, and with all due respect to Oculus 410, who is hugely involved in the community, Lakes 05 is probably the biggest supporter of the metaverse community, of the Horizon Worlds community.
Sensei Jay, tell us about Vidu.
Vidu is a educational content video production company, and we make videos for those of us in Horizon Worlds who are wanting to, learn more about how to create and how to utilize everything that Horizon Worlds has to offer, all the magnificent and wonderful benefits. They are extremely community oriented. Vidu is a great company to work for, and Lakes 05 is a great boss to have. He is so energized all the time about doing everything that he can to level up the community all the time. And
sure.
it is just a fabulous company to work for. I can't imagine having a better job than I have right now.
Super cool. Yeah.
You just said something that made me think about life outside the metaverse. It's something to be said about a leader who's always energetic. I'm reading a book right now called Relaunch. And the idea is when a leader is shifting the culture of an organization, the importance of just casting vision consistently. And so I'm just curious if you could describe a little bit more about just some leadership that you've observed, just having that positive outlook on in everything.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm on my second career now, right? So when I was 14 years old, I started training in the martial arts. I did that because I was getting beat up every day for my lunch money, my 50 cents. And so I begged and pleaded my parents, man, I need to learn how to defend myself. And, so they finally enrolled me in karate lessons, and I quickly decided, man, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, So I started directing everything about myself toward that goal. And by the time I was 23 years old, I was a full-time professional martial arts instructor. And I owned the school at the age of 27. And basically I said to myself, man, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. There's no question about it. Right. So then what happened, I did that for years. I ended up 28 years. And then at the age of 50, so I was born and raised in the same town. I went to college, in the same state. And everything I had was there in that place. And then at the age of 50, so my wife, who I've been married for 20 years, I'll tell you, it's been the best 4 years of my life. She's a college professor. She has a doctoral degree in nurse education, which means basically that she teaches the first person you see after you wake up, having said, hold my beer and watch this. Okay. So she has a very important job, right? And so she had a great opportunity, and she says, man, I'd really like to follow this opportunity. I said, well, great, let's do it. She said, well, it's 1,500 miles from here, So I thought about it, and I said, what kind of a husband would I be if I did not support my wife 100% in everything all of her dreams and everything that she wants to accomplish in her life? So I sold my karate school. I sold the building that I owned that the karate school was in. I sold all my rental properties that I had accumulated over the years. I did everything. We moved 1,500 miles away to Virginia. And she is thrilled, and she's super successful in what she's doing. She's one of the best in the business. But then I found myself quite bored because I was doing nothing, basically, here all of a sudden I went from, working 60 to 80 hours a week, running a martial arts school, to doing nothing. And
we got you muted.
I can't hear you.
I said, I wanted to pause and talk about that, but I think we do talk about it coming up. The idea, I wanted to underscore just this husband's decision to love his wife and say, I'm going to support you in your career. That's pretty awesome.
Well, she said the same, she supported me all those years, through thick and thin. If I said, man, I need to go to California for a karate tournament, she would say, go, and and she never once, was saying, why don't you just skip that? Or, why don't you not do that? So how could I possibly come back and say, yeah, no, you can't have what you want? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense,
good.
Yeah.
So good.
That is good. And it comes right back to that consistency piece too. Like that's just the dynamics between a healthy husband and wife relationships, where you're supporting each other, spending time with each other and all that. It's that's one of the central themes of this this whole conversation. So
Yeah. Well, my wife, you guys haven't ever met her, but I'm just going to tell you, she's the most remarkable human being I've ever met, without any question. And I just am eternally grateful that she chose to marry me. So she's the most intelligent person I've ever met, but she doesn't have very good taste, and I am incredibly grateful for that. So,
that's the perfect combination when you you get that that perfect women, and their only downfall is she doesn't have good taste in men.
That's it.
Yeah, always.
There you go.
One of the new bits that I have is, like, people always say, man, you married up. Like, most of us dudes do married up. But what does that say about her? Like, her choices. Like, she's so wise, yet she makes poor choices of men. Yeah. She married, you married up with that poor woman. She married down. She just
right. True. Yeah. All right, back at it.
So I started quickly teaching myself a different craft, and that craft was video editing and visual effects artistry, which I had dabbled in before, but then I really dove in heavily. And at that point, it was about last November. So how long has that been? 9 months ago or so. I was approached by Legs05, who was doing all of his own video editing. He said, man, I really need help doing this. And I said, man, I'd love to. I love the mission of your company and what video is doing and all that kind of stuff. So I jumped right in, and he and I work so well together. He is as a leader, he is very much like I am. He's a very positive leader.
I love this.
He is quick to praise. He is also quick to show you where you can improve things, and because of his leadership and because of his guidance and direction, I have really been able to level up my video editing skills as well as my ability to cut together a good tutorial and that kind of stuff. So,
very cool.
It's all about being positive, though, really, and that's how he is. He's just amazing.
Earlier, we were talking about like reliability and dependability. How much of that would you equate back to your experience in martial arts?
Well, all of it, because, as you know, and also, when you own your own business, you have to show up. If you don't show up, then the business isn't going to happen, and especially in my younger days when I was the only person, I was the guy who taught all the classes. I was the guy who changed the light bulbs and took out the trash and, vacuumed the school and cleaned the mat, and did everything. When you're if you don't show up, it's done, right? And so in those early days, I did it all. And so you have to be responsible, and you can't have a bad day either, because when you build your business, you build them one client at a time, but you can lose them all in one day if you have one bad day.
Boy, that's a nugget right there. Yeah,
and it's true.
You
So
build
because
clients
of that,
one at a time, and you can lose them all at once. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. So because of that, you have to, you have to be positive all the time, whether or not you're positive. Woke up positive. You have to decide at that moment, man, this is going to be another great day. Because it's my choice, so I'm going to choose that. Crap happens to everybody. Bad things happen every day. But what happens to you is not what defines you. Okay. What defines who you are is how you respond to what happens to you. Because you have control over that. You don't have control over what happens to you, but you absolutely have control over whether you're going to respond in a positive or a negative way. And that's what matters, right? And that's who you end up being. And that's as you guys talked about in a previous podcast, because I actually watched these things. You throw a rock into the pond, and there go the ripples, right? And ultimately, those ripples, it's the butterfly effect, as they call it, affect every little part of that pond. And so that's you as a human being affecting everything in the whole world, in the whole universe, by just being yourself. And so the question is, do you want to be a positive ripple in the pond, or do you want to not be a positive ripple in the pond? And so my goal is to choose to be a positive ripple all the time. All the time.
You know,
Cool.
a wise man once said, crap happens. Sometimes you're the crappy, sometimes you're the crapper. The question is, how do you respond when the crap happens? So,
and that's the key. I mean, that really is the key, right? And haters are going to hate. No worries, you know. I think it was Winston Churchill who said, you know, you're never going to get where you're going if you stop to keep throwing rocks at dogs that are barking at you. You know, so you got to let those guys go and move forward. You know, that kind of thing.
Good.
Right? So.
Yeah.
Listen.
Oh man,
make sure you grab you grab all the nuggets that the sensei is dropping right now.
Yeah.
This stuff is so good.
Yeah. Well, I know we could sit here and talk all day, but there's so many things that I think people probably have questions about. You know, I mean, there's your background in martial arts, there's the videography stuff, there's the leadership principles that you talked about, and the secrets to success and finding opportunities in the metaverse. I think we take another quick break and then come back with some questions. What do you think, Jay?
Let's go. Boom. Drop the music to that. That's all right. If you ugly on the inside, don't dance. Okay.
Man, good stuff.
So good.
Wow,
So
that's good. I know the Q&A that's coming up is always my favorite part of anything that we do, because you know, we really get to dig in with what do people want to know.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and go ahead.
no,
Jason.
you go.
I was just going to say, in the metaverse, it's different because, you know, you're all in the same virtual space. So it's like you're really in the room with each other. You know, it's different than like us right now, where we're just looking at pictures of each other on a flat screen. I mean, you're really interacting with people one-on-one. And so it's nice to be up on a stage, you know, and then people come up on the stage and talk, you know, and ask questions, or, you know, rebound on what you're saying. And this happens all the time in the Soapstone Comedy Club, which you own, Aaron, and is your baby. I mean, it's just one of the most fabulous places, quote unquote, places to actually go and be in, even though it doesn't actually really exist except in bits and bytes, you know, and in pixels. But to us, it's a real place. Those of us who go in there, it's like, I've been there and I know what it looks like, and I recognize, you know, the stage of it. You know, I would recognize it anywhere. You know, and it's a remarkable place to be, quote unquote, place to be. And I'm just delighted to be involved in what is really a rocket ship that's taking off.
That's good stuff, man. I just want to say, from that, I don't think there's been a show that's impacted me the most that I can see than this particular show that we're watching now. Man, the leadership principles, making sure that, like, I started asking myself, how much of a optimistic leader am I? And I'm very optimistic. I know that, but you know, does that optimism spill over into people to where they feel like they can level up when they're around me? Dude, I'm telling you, man, I've consistently been asking and watching myself and seeing if I'm measuring up to that aspect of a leader that you talked about. It's so good.
Man, that's funny to hear you say that, Jason, because I also have been thinking about that, and I feel like I'm optimistic. You know, I'm a positive presence. I'm a positive person. But the flip side of that,
without a doubt,
the flip side of that you commented that makes Lakes, that you make that Lakes has in space. But the flip side of that, you know, I probably, you know, a big part of what I do is I like to empower people and put them in positions to grow, sometimes through mistakes. But sometimes doing them a disservice by not doing that piece that you talked about that Lakes does, and say, hey, this is the path to growth. So I don't know.
I think both of them are good, and Lakes definitely, lets me make lots of mistakes, and I certainly take advantage of that every opportunity I get. But then he's quick to say, hey, you know what, let's try this or let's try that. And I mean, he really is an amazing leader to be following. I've learned so much from that guy, not just in terms of video editing and the craft that I'm involved in now, but from just as a human being, and shout out to him. He and his wife just had a baby 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So they aren't getting any sleep anymore. I'm sorry. But,
right.
But he's still jumping in, and she's also a video editor, and she's extremely good at what she does. Also, they both are, plugging away like the great people that they are. So
incredible.
Yeah,
so good. And can we just plug them again? I mean, even the video editing that you do.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have a banner set up, but
Vidyu is Vidyu. The name of the company is Vidyu, VIDYUU, and then, like I said, they do more for the community, the Horizon Worlds community, than anybody out there. They are amazing.
Yeah.
We just started I'm going to plug this, the video verification program, which is basically we're trying to level up the community in terms of building skill, right? So you can now learn and actually have your worlds assessed and become verified as a video verified builder. And also you can have your scripting ability assessed and level up that way as well, because we are having so many people coming to us now saying we need a world built and we have money to pay for that. Can you recommend somebody who can do that? And it's like, yes, we can, because we have a whole cadre of people who we have certified and we have looked at, and we know that they're good at what they do. And we want to make sure that we're referring high quality builders and scripters, people who know what they're doing, to take care of you and take care of you well. So the video verification program is just an amazing next step that, again, Lakes 05 comes up with these things out of the clear blue sky. And it just levels up the community like nothing else. So it's just fantastic. I'm so excited.
And I've referred a couple people that way, but I have actually fallen a little bit short, because when they say, oh, how exactly do I sign up for that? I haven't known exactly what to tell them. So how exactly does somebody enroll in that program?
So you go to vidyu.com/VV, which stands for video verification, and all the information you need to know is right there.
All right.
And so again, I just want to tell anybody who thinks, or if you're intimidated by this metaverse idea, the building of it, man, again, they assess you where you are and give you the education based off of what level you're on.
Yep.
It's
It's
awesome.
amazing. It's amazing. So there it is. vidyu.com/VV.
All right. There it is. Don't try to click on that. It's not a hyperlink if you're watching. and if you're listening, definitely don't try to click on that.
Definitely.
And if you go to, it's VV, not VD. It's VV.
VV.
All right. Let's get to some Q&A, huh?
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Still stirring that chili there, Sensei.
Well, I don't think that's going to make any of the video how to dance tutorials.
It might. Come on.
You never know.
That is so good.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, this is my favorite part of the entire show. And that's when we can open it up to the audience and ask some questions. You got so much to your story. So let's open it up to the audience. Looks like Trainer Cal is ready for a question. Come on up, Trainer.
Yeah, questions for Sensei. How do I start recording?
That's a good question.
All right, take it from the top, everybody. From the top.
Here we go. That's very funny.
But no, my serious question is you had quite a big career change, and you've done an amazing thing supporting your wife, which I think is amazing, by the way. Like, I would drop whatever I'm doing in a heartbeat to support my wife. There's a few things I'd have to keep in there. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
But Jason just talked about how important it was that, and I guess you talked about it too, to keep that husband and wife relationship going through the kids. And my wife and I do that all the time. In fact, last weekend we took a trip, just the two of us, out of state, so that we could spend that time together with each other. And we do that all the time. And it's, like you said, super important to maintain, a real family going where love is all of it. It's all about love. So, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Very cool.
Yeah, so obviously you must have had a lot of obstacles to overcome when you moved 1,500 miles away, and it must have been quite a rough start. How did you overcome that? How did you land yourself back on your feet?
Thank you for asking that question. The answer is I approached it with an incredibly positive attitude, right? Because every day you can wake up and decide, and this is something I used to teach my kids, because I literally have taught over 10,000 children karate in my lifetime, right?
Wow.
And, I would tell these kids, you can wake up in the morning and be like, oh man, this is going to be a lousy day. This is going to be a bummer of a day. And then how's your day going to be? Well, it's going to be lousy. You've already decided that. Or you could wake up and go, man, this is going to be great. I'm so excited to go to school and do well and get good grades and improve myself and learn things and this and that. How's your day going to be now? And the kids are like, man, it's going to be great. I'm like, yeah, that's it. And what was the difference? The difference is I chose. I made that choice. And that choice is what matters. And we all can make that choice every day. And right now, let's be honest, the things that we have, you should always live with a grateful heart, because we have, so many people think about all the things that they don't have, but the reality is that we have so much, especially where we live and where we are, and the opportunities that we get every day that, people in history have never had before. And the metaverse is a really great example of this. it is so exciting to be part of something that is on the ground floor getting ready to take off like a rocket ship. It's incredible. And I can't imagine anybody is not excited about that, So
good stuff,
with a positive attitude, that's the answer. Yep.
Thank you, trainer, for that question.
Thank you.
Jay, that was wonderfully insightful. All right.
I had no sound, man. Shucks.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Sturminator's got a question. Come on up, Sturm.
Terminator.
So, my question is to all of you: what is your 5 to 10 year plan for this, like the metaverse, Soapstone, your thing, and the world, and the podcast thing?
Yeah, you're first on that. 'Cause you're the one.
Man, what a great question.
Yeah.
That is a great question.
Yeah. And the first thing I would say is the pace that things move in the metaverse is unlike what happens in the real world in IRL. So in IRL, like the executive level horizon, no pun intended, should be, 5 to 10 years out. But in the metaverse, like it's almost like dog years. So the furthest out we should be looking is really like 1 to 2 years is so long. Like really 6 to 18 months is the equivalent of 5 to 10 years. So for me, like when I think about like 6 to 12 months, let's say, what do I want to accomplish? What's the vision? What do we want to get to? This community of the Soapstone, I want to continue to help that grow stronger and closer and tighter knit together. Continue to grow larger, and reach more people through that. And I think the way that we're going to do that is by giving back, giving back through awards, giving back through recognition, giving back through opportunities. So that's the piece of it. And then the other piece of it is we're really going to work to even beef up more with the programming that we're offering. This is an exciting platform, and there's exciting opportunities, and I think we can bring in some wonderful performance experiences to make that experience in the Soapstone that much better. So, Sensei and Jason, do you guys want to
answer that?
Yeah, well, I'll say this, man. So my goal ultimately is, I want when people leave, when they take off these Oculus glasses, for them to be better husbands, better wives, better parents, better entrepreneurs, better supervisors, better leaders, better followers. So
better
ultimately,
human beings.
Absolutely. So when I think about what my 1, 2, 3, 4 year plan is to create resources within the metaverse and outside the metaverse that consistently allows helps me aid people in becoming better in what they do, in particular the human relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's magnificent. Yeah. And I would say that, and I was just speaking with Lakes 05 about this yesterday, in fact, and he said to me something that I didn't realize, and that is that in the first 6 months of this year, Horizon Worlds has come out with twice as many updates in terms of code blocks and new features and this and that than they did all of last year.
Wow.
Which means we're on pace for 4 times what happened last year. And I think that will continue. And so when you say that things are accelerating, they are accelerating in a big hurry. Wow. And it's because of the good people at Meta, the developers.
Man, it sure does feel like we're in a rocket ship, doesn't it?
every time you see those little, for those of you who haven't been in the metaverse, every time you see those little things, those emojis, that's because somebody's giving a thumbs up. And in the metaverse, that's how we say,
or throwing confetti.
Yeah, or we throw confetti by throwing our hands up in the air. And so just in case you're wondering what those things are, that's how we acknowledge something in the metaverse.
And your eyes get big when it does it.
Yeah.
And if you hold the thumbs up for too long, you get this psycho killer
smile. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
All right.
Who are working really hard on making this the greatest in VR platform that there can possibly be, without a doubt. And those guys are, they're because of that. It is difficult to say, where are we going to be in 10 years from now?
Right.
Sometimes I can't even picture what we're going to be doing in 3 months from now, let alone 3 years. Or
I don't
10
even know what sandwich I'm gonna pick at Subway. Right.
Well, there's
something really important. There's a very important nuance there too, especially talking about Meta developers and what they're doing. The pace that this platform is growing and improving is unlike anything anywhere. Like and because of that, like oftentimes when updates come out, people will express a little bit of frustration, like, oh, this isn't working well, this isn't working well. And the realization that I came into is the developers, what they're working on is not what we're seeing today. What we're seeing today is 6 months in their rearview mirror.
Yeah.
They are building something that we don't even know what it's going to look like yet.
Right.
In some ways, they don't even know what it's you might know.
Some of us might have a peek into some of the things that are coming.
Yeah.
Because some of us have, because just like them, we have lead time on those videos. And so obviously, they say, hey, we're going to be coming out with such and such. Can we have a video on that? Yeah. Can I get access to that? That would be nice.
So you got a little peek, and so, but you especially get what I'm saying. It's like Wayne Gretzky. He famously said that the reason he's so good at hockey is because he does not skate to where the puck is. He skates to where the puck is gonna be. And I feel like the people who are successful here, from a developer standpoint, from a world creator standpoint, and from a community standpoint, are the people who are skating towards where the puck is going to be 6 months, as opposed to focusing on what's happening.
Speak to the people, brother.
Yep.
So with that, I have a question for you, Sensei. What wisdom would you give let's say, to individuals who really trying to make an impact in the road. So like let's take for instance our dear Lolly, who who's just such a dear sweetheart, man.
Lolly should get a double clap. She needs her own Lolly button.
Absolutely.
Hit that, and it's like triple clap. You know. Yeah.
So for the non developers, but people who really want to see impact on people's lives, what insight would you give? Like, here's some things that you should do to get ready for the wave of technology that's coming within the metaverse.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, that's a good point. And a few shows back, you talked about the idea of, you know, there are people who are building, and then there are people who are walking through the doors that are being built.
Yeah.
And everybody is important. You know, there's no unimportant people around here.
Absolutely.
Every single person who you interact with is an important person. And not only that, but it's easy to see and go, oh, you look more like a cartoon than a real human. But for every cartoon, you know, that you see in front of you, there's a real human being sitting behind those lenses.
Yeah.
And it is just super important that you treat every single human being that you come across with courtesy and dignity and respect. And not because of who they are or what station they have in life, but because of who you are as a human being who is dealing with people.
That's
right?
Good stuff.
I went and bought my wife a new office chair yesterday because hers is not good. And I said, man, you need a high quality office chair. You know, and it's one of those things. And I was at the store and I came out and there was.
Hey, one of your old students.
And I came out and there was an older gentleman standing by his car and he was just standing there. So I walked up to him and I said, hey, you know, sir, is everything okay? He goes, I dropped a wireless mouse that I just bought and it rolled under the car.
Oh no.
So here I am now. I'm not exactly young. I'm 55 and I flopped down on my belly right underneath that car, found it, pulled it out. You know, I was wearing my good shirts all covered now and whatever. He was so appreciative of that. You know, it's just those little things that you can do for people every single day.
Good point.
Right.
Good point.
Every single day. And whether it's in real life or whether it's in the metaverse, doesn't matter. Everybody deserves to be treated with dignity, courtesy, and respect.
Agreed. Well, let's take another question. Who out there's got a question? Laszlo, good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. You got a question or anything?
Oh, we got Cameron's got a question. Come on.
Chimera, yeah.
Chimera, you coming up?
Can you take the wall off? I think we maybe have a block. Come on.
We don't have a jump.
Hey,
let's go.
So I totally had to get on the higher step, jump higher. I have a question, and you kind of stole half of it, unfortunately.
How he turned out.
But my other part to that question was, for your younger self, the younger Sensei Jay, for everything that you've learned today, everything that we've experienced in the metaverse, especially specifically to the metaverse, what would you tell your younger self today to get yourself to the spot maybe faster than you did, you know, before when you started up, you know, videographing and things like that? What is the advice you would give to your younger self to get you there?
Is it not? Well, you could answer this also.
I'll go first. All three of y'all. It's very.
I'll go first.
Question.
I would say thank you for that question. I would say that, if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would say you're taking yourself way too seriously. You need to lighten up, man. You know, you are going to make mistakes. That's it. We're human. Humans make mistakes. That's what it is to be human, right? So you have to realize that, know that, accept that, and then say there are no failures in life, only learning opportunities. The only true failure in life is to not learn from your mistakes. And so then so my goal is to every day make all new mistakes, right? Every day I want to make all new mistakes, because making the same mistakes, obviously, what do they say? If you always did what you done, then you're only going to always get what you got. And so you know, you got to do things different, and don't be afraid to do that. And I do that now. I will do something in a video cut, and then I will give it to Lake 05 and I'll go, what are you doing? Well, I was just, whatever. You don't do that. Okay. And then other times he will go, wow, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I've learned, Can I tell a story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I tell a story? Okay. I'll make it quick, right? When I was 16 years old, I was I was born and raised in Colorado Springs. That is where the Olympic Training Center is. When I was 16 years old, I was a big fan of martial arts, obviously, and boxing as well. And so we had the opportunity to go and have dinner, my dad and I, with some actual boxers, right? Sugar Ray Leonard. I had dinner with Sugar Ray Leonard and an Olympic hopeful by the name of Andrew Maynard, 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, who ended up being a gold medal winner there. And then this other boxer I'd never heard of. Okay. And so we're having dinner, and this other boxer is like, well, first of all, I got to tell you, Mr. Leonard, can I get my picture with you? Oh, that'd be great. Mr. Maynard, can I get my picture with you? That'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to, so I have pictures of me. And then it's this third guy, well, kid, do you want, dinner with me too? Or dinner? Do you want a picture with me too? And I'm like, not really. Who are you? I don't know. And so my dad's like, get your picture taken with him. And I'm like, in the picture, and I threw the picture away. Had I known that Evander Holyfield was going to end up being who he ended up being, I might have treated him with a little more respect. Okay. And so one of the lessons learned there, of course, is you never know where somebody's going to go. Right? Absolutely. You never know who somebody's going to be. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember when I first met you, I had no idea you were going to be as successful as you were going to end up being in the metaverse.
That makes
I'm glad I was nice to you.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He's successful in the metaverse?
Well, I've been told. That's what I've heard. The rumor is, right? But here's the thing about Evander Holyfield, and this is something that he taught me that night. He said, kid, you're always going to make mistakes. Own them. Take them, learn from them, and don't ever make it that same mistake again. And one of the things that I have noticed about, because I followed his whole career, every time he lost, he would rematch and win the same person. Wow. He never lost twice to the same person.
Let's go.
His policy was don't blame others. Oh, the referee screwed me over on that fight. Oh, my trainer didn't train me well on that fight. Oh, the judges, didn't like me. Oh, the ring was the wrong size. Whatever it is, you could blame 1,000 different things. But what he would do is he would say, I'm going to take what, I did, and I'm going to look at that and figure out what did I do that caused that to happen, and then I'm going to do it differently next time.
Wow, that's good stuff.
That's the answer to that. So there you go. That's what I would tell my younger self. Own your mistakes. Learn.
Man, there's so much good stuff in what you just said there. Like, my goodness. But man, owning your mistakes, and just learning from them and growing through them. That's huge, dude. Thanks for sharing that. And I was just struck by how many Evander Holyfields we have running around the metaverse right now. Like the people that we're meeting and rubbing elbows with right now, these are the people that are, that are forming this platform and going to be the, the OGs and just all that. I mean, it's cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
good. It's exciting too. And I'm still struck by the fact that you're doing well in the metaverse. To
be I'm blown away that you met Evander Holyfield when he had 2 whole ears.
Yeah, and when he was, he was the cruiserweight, in the Olympics. He wasn't even a heavyweight. He was quite a bit smaller than, he is now. And I met him, and he literally was a nobody. I mean, nobody knew who he was when I happened to meet him that night. So,
wow, pretty spectacular. All right, back at it.
from them and move forward and don't look back.
And there are you.
That's cool. And
Yep.
and my answer to that is a little bit shorter.
Thank goodness.
But hopefully just as important. And this is something that I learned in while going through addiction recovery for alcoholism, the serenity prayer. And the serenity prayer goes, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think. Did I say that right? and
You learned
the
it,
memory
and now
to
you
be
can't
able to
We gotta give a quick shout out though to Sensei Jay for editing right there, because man, we got into that a little bit, and then like the whole room blew up. Right?
Yeah. I was gonna say you got a great video editor, whoever that is, whoever put this video together, boy, he was
That
really
is
good.
great.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like I didn't take a breath, but I mean, we had to stop everything and say, "Whoa, we gotta rope this back in."
Yeah, like, has that brother been out drinking?
Yeah, man. So nice job on that.
Thanks.
remember this.
Wait.
Sounds
Let me
to
see
me
your
like
chip,
you
sir.
didn't learn it.
right. Let's see your chip. I've never been ID'd for recovery. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, that right there, that changed my entire outlook, not just towards recovery, but just in everything. The first thing, that's like the first filter that I put anything through. Is this something that I can control, or is this something that I cannot control? And that determines which of those buckets it goes into. And the more I do that, the more I realize that much more than not goes into the bucket of things I can't control. So I need serenity to accept that and move forward.
Yep.
Yeah, I immediately think two things. One is, if you're consistently looking at yourself as insignificant, you're probably more self-centered than what you realize.
Ooh.
And so with that in mind, I would tell my younger self, dude, stop worrying about the fact that your runway might not be long enough. Use whatever runway you have, regardless of how short it is, and you go for it.
Yeah.
That's
Good stuff.
That's so good.
Man, well, I got to say, this has been so fun to be here with the audience, to be here with you guys, to hang out and just share some of the things that we've learned, to struggle with giving high fives.
There you go. One time for the brother. One time for the brother. Yeah.
One time, 50 times.
For those of you keeping score at home, I'm way behind. Yeah. Oh man, this has been so good. I love these conversations. This has been just a privilege to be involved. Thank you for being a guest. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you for having
with the video and the editing and pulling this together. And Jason, my friend, oh man, what an adventure!
When I cut this video together, I'm going to look amazing by the time I'm done. Let me tell you, it's all going to be just me talking. I'm going to cut you guys out.
That is great. Welcome to the Sensei J Show, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. I'll video effect it.
I've seen your video effects. Like you could demolish this place to the ground.
You bet. Make it a whole new place.
So good.
Yeah.
Hey man,
right.
I just before we go, I just want to say, man, thanks. As we started with Aaron talking about how consistent you are, dude. Thanks for being consistent in what you're doing with MetaVersed. Your consistent editing, your presence, man, is like a sensei, super calming, and like, hey, if Sensei is here, we know everything's gonna be cool, man. So I just appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. Yeah. And I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you guys providing a really safe place in Horizon Worlds that everybody can go to and have a good time and laugh and enjoy themselves, and know that they're going to be treated well. So I really appreciate you guys as well.
No doubt.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you all for being here.
Thank
you all for watching. Yeah.
Let's go. Okay.
Cue outro music.
Yeah. Oh.